Hello, my name is Matthew Steinke and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know, I review movies because that's what I do best, and today I am really pleased to be able to review a film called Knives Out for you guys. Now, before we start the review, I want to tell you guys something. So I went to see this film at an advanced screening. I saw it on the 22nd. It comes out on the 27th, which I believe was yesterday. So if you haven't seen this movie, go see it. But at the screening, I got three posters of the film, and I have one hanging off screen on my wall, and I have two posters left. And so I thought that maybe I could have a little competition for you guys. And so the competition is that whoever posts down below the first and the second comments that are posted will receive one of the posters each. So, I don't know what you can post. Here, how about you try and guess who you think is the murderer in this film. And giving the posters to you is neither going to confirm nor deny who you guessed, but the guessing isn't really what depends on you winning or not. It's just the first person that comments and the second person that comments will receive one of the posters each. So there's my little competition, because I don't really need three posters of the same movie. So just wanted to get that out there. So on this review especially, don't forget to post in the comments down below. Alright, now let's get into the actual review of Knives Out. Knives Out was directed by Rian Johnson and stars a big cast. Let's see if I can get it in one read through. Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, Jamie Lee Curtis, Catherine Langford, Michael Shannon, Toni Collette, Don Johnson, Frank Oz, Christopher Plummer, Jaden Martell, and Lakeith Stanfield. Alright. The plot revolves around a man named Harlan Thrombey who invites his extended family to his 85th birthday in hopes of reuniting them. The next morning, he's found dead. Bum bum bum. And Detective Benoit Blanc is called to investigate. Alright, let's get into the positives on this film. The cast. I haven't seen a film in a while that has such a dynamic cast as this one. It's filled with so many stars and so many different actors, and it's a weird bunch to have together, but it absolutely works. Everyone gives a spectacular performance in this film. I can't think of one actor that does a bad job in this movie. I'm serious, they're all really good. And like I said, there's such an unlikely bunch of actors that you would have paired together, but they do such a good job with each one of their respective characters that it really doesn't matter, because in the end, you're sitting there and you're thinking, man, this movie couldn't have worked without any other cast. Every character feels like they would have been done injustice if each respective actor hadn't played them. But I guess if I were to choose one standout out of this amazing and extremely talented cast, I guess it would have to be Daniel Craig, who plays Detective Blanc. He has this kind of story tale quality, this kind of quality that maybe he would be a character in a book that I would have read when I was little. Like, he pays homage to these 1970s detectives and these sleuths like Hercule Poirot from the Agatha Christie novels, and he's got this kind of folklore, fairy tale quality that I really like about him. He's like a character that would be alongside the Sherlock Holmes mythos. He's a really good character, and Daniel Craig plays him wonderfully. He does a really good job with his character, and I hope, just based off of Daniel Craig's performance, that we get more sequels with this character, because he's just such an interesting character to watch. I'd love to get more movies with Detective Blanc's further investigations. It's a really good cast, and Daniel Craig gives a really fantastic performance. The plot also is simply fantastic. This is a classic whodunit. This is, one person gets killed, a whole myriad of suspects, and the detective has to come in. It's like Clue. It's like the board game Clue. And this is a genre that is not really, it doesn't have a life force that much currently in this decade. There haven't really been many whodunit movies in a long time. I think the most recent one was in 2017. That was Kenneth Branagh's Murder on the Orient Express. And these movies are ones that I really like. I really like murder mysteries. I think they're really fun. I think they're some of the most fun experiences you'll ever have in a theater, because the audience feels really whole. It feels one connected, that we're all sitting here trying to figure out this mystery. And this film felt no different. The plot is fantastic. Not only is it a homage to the old films from the 70s, I believe there were several films in the 1970s that were adaptations of different Agatha Christie novels. And this film not only pays homage to that, but it creates its own way of telling that kind of story, but in the modern era. It feels like a murder mystery for 2019, and that's what makes it work so well. It sets itself apart from these other films that were known in the 70s, and it's these other films that Rian Johnson grew up with, and it's these films that he replicated and made into something his own, and he did a really good job with it. The screenplay is one of the best I've seen this year. I think it may be a little bit better than Jojo Rabbit. Maybe not, I don't know, but just from what I remember, it was a fantastic screenplay. I really think it was good. Knives Out probably won't win major Oscars, but I'm really hoping it takes home Best Original Screenplay this year, because it deserves it. This film has a fantastic screenplay. The screenplay is amazing. I'd like to get my hands on it one of these days, because it's a really, really good screenplay. And like I said, it not only pays homage to it, but it creates its own type of murder mystery for the 2019, for this decade. And it really does it well. And like I've said, there's a very gray line in between homage and just flat out stealing. And Rian Johnson walks that line very well. He never dips into the stealing. It always feels like a kind of like a loving wink wink nudge nudge type of thing, you know? And I think he does it really well. It never feels like he's stealing from Agatha Christie or from Arthur Conan Doyle. It never feels like that at all. He does a really good job with this. The mystery also, if you're making a whodunit, you gotta have a good mystery, and it's original, I'd say. Well, like I said, pays homage. It really subverts your expectations. I was expecting this film to be really meta, and I was expecting it to kind of make fun of all these murder mystery tropes, and while it does, it's never the main focus of the screen. It's not like Deadpool. It's not like, oh, look, the detective's walking through the door and he's got the note in his hand. It's never like that. It's never on the nose. It's never in your face. We're making fun of this. It's always just little hints and little things that fans of the genre will be able to recognize and understand and laugh at. This film's mystery is something that you would expect from those old 70s films, and I think while I had all these ideas going through my head of how meta it could get, I really like the ending that way they went with, because it was a nice closure, and it made sense in relativity to the rest of the story and what preceded the ending. It's a really well done twist, and it's a really well done mystery. But I might have seen it coming. I don't really remember. I have like vague memories of maybe seeing it coming, but for me, I don't think it's one that's blatantly obvious, or I don't think it's one that you guys will see coming. But then again, I've never really been good at solving mysteries. I'm no Sherlock Holmes whatsoever. But it's quite relevant to our own times. Its political humor never villainizes each side, instead finds the comedy that is housed in each of them, kind of satirizing them both. If you're a political person and you go and see this film, it does have political comedy that is relatively based in 2019, and I don't think either side's going to get offended. I don't think it is too brutal on Republicans. I don't think it's too brutal on Democrats. I think it walks that line very finely, and I think it does a good job with it. The film's comedy is never mean-spirited whatsoever, and it works well alongside the more thrilling and dramatic moments. The plot is fun, funny, and dramatic, making this film feel like it's infinitely rewatchable. The pacing is tight, never lets go, feeling like a roller coaster. All the emotions are perfectly balanced, the set decor is fabulous, editing is crisp, cinematography in some shots is absolutely gorgeous. The close-ups are nicely done, adding to the sense of mystery, and one character has a quirk so original that it's a masterclass in how to make an original character that is not too on the nose, but not too unbelievable to have. You'll notice it when you see the film. It's a really fun quirk, and it helps propel the story along. It never holds it back, and it never feels like a Deus Ex Machina. It never feels like something that comes out of nowhere to just help the story and wrap up all loose ends. It feels like it fits naturally into that world, and I think they do it really well. The score is also great, playing into that mysterious gothic vibe, the tone of the film has, and the soundtrack has some great songs, although I only remember a couple being played. The dialogue is fun, and it's well written, pushing the story along at a good rate, and the huge rack of knives, this plays into set decor. There's a huge rack of knives behind the interrogating room where they interrogate all the characters. That's a really clever touch. I really like that. I thought that was really fun. Then again, that just plays into my taste, but I really like that. For the first time, I think, in a long time, I have no negatives for this film. Yeah, I was just having a good time while watching. I don't remember thinking one negative thought whatsoever. I guess if you're not really into suspense and you don't like kind of that nervous, anxious heartbeat feeling where you're sitting in the theater and you're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen next, then maybe this movie isn't for you. I mean, if you don't like feeling scared while watching a movie, I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying if you're not really a fan of that, then maybe that would be a negative for any of you, but that's more of a warning than an actual negative of the film. So, no, I don't have any negatives with this movie whatsoever. Alright, let's get into the conclusion on this film. All of you who watch my channel know how much I love smart movies. Movies that make you think and can change your entire worldview as you know it for the better. Movies that are meaningful and thought-provoking, with interesting questions and fascinating statements. But as much as I love those movies, those Oscar films as they're better known as, here's something you might not know about me. As much as I love those kinds of films, I find myself remembering films meant for fun. As much as a movie can make me think deeply, I remember movies that give me experiences and give me emotions. That's why I remember Jojo Rabbit so vividly, and that's why I'll always remember Knives Out. It's a film that left me with a smile on my face and a fun mystery in my head to wrap around. A film that made me laugh out loud and gasp in shock. And above all, the sense of love for cinema that every single person in that theater felt at the advanced screening was palpable. We all knew that we were seeing something special, and we soaked up every minute of it. Laughing, gasping, oohing, and awing at everything on the screen. This film felt like a movie you sit around a fireplace and watch with friends and family. And experiences like that in theaters are the ones I hold very close to my heart. It also helps that the film is amazing, with Johnson's revolutionary screenplay, hilarious and strong performances from the spectacular cast, and an all-around sense of good-natured fun. Knives Out really is a movie that brings people together rather than separates them. It's a murder mystery, and a movie that you have fun and like watching. A movie where you can just live in the moment and forget about your day-to-day life. I've always loved mysteries, and so getting to see a film like this is really a treat. Some of you might be surprised about what I'm about to say, and you might ask me why. Knives Out didn't leave an impact on society as a whole. It didn't change the world. It's not Citizen Kane. And to that I say, you're right, but you're forgetting something. As much as films are known now as the ultimate way to get a message across, and to have a huge political statement or to change the world as we know it, we also must remember what film actually is. Moving pictures meant to take us out of reality and let us explore a new one for a little while. To have fun and to spend time with others, to laugh, cry, and cheer together in a small room with all the lights off, watching a screen. In the end, movies are about trying to change lives, but they're also about having fun. And with all the beautiful and garbage films that I've seen this year, Knives Out was a film that I really had fun watching. And it's a film I know I'll be watching and sharing with others for the rest of my life. As influential and astounding these serious films can be, sometimes we find those elements in a good old-fashioned murder mystery. And we do with Knives Out. As we leave the theater, we may not be changed forever, but we will leave feeling a little happier and have had fun. In a world where sadness is mostly praised, a little happiness never hurt anyone. Not every important message has to be delivered through a depressing movie. Sometimes, if done right, it can be delivered through a fun film. And Knives Out is a testament to that. Along with Jojo Rabbit, I'm calling Knives Out a masterpiece. Not just because of how incredibly well it's done, but because of what it represents. And for the mystery of what I'm rating Knives Out, well, I've cracked that case. I am rating Knives Out a 5 out of 5. This film is a masterpiece in my opinion. I really think it's done really well. And if you want to go to the movies with a couple of friends and just have fun, Knives Out is the film for you. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Post in the comments who you think did it. I'm not going to confirm and I'm not going to deny it, but if you're quick and you're fast and you are the first commenter and the second commenter, you will win a poster. Sorry I don't have more, I only have 2. But there's the little competition that I was talking about on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for all the feedback on the channel. I'm looking forward to getting you guys more reviews. Alright, go watch movies.